The Baltimore citizens couldn't believe that they were living a lie all their lives. The gun track task force officers were not only being fully honest in their work, but also committing fraud, extortion, and robbery. In 2017, their secrets got out, and their story was widely covered by all the media.
Now the nation is learning of the disgraced and corrupt Gun Trace Task Force.
Baltimore's biggest police corruption scandal is now in the national spotlight.
How did they get exposed? What all crimes did they commit? In 2017, the Gun Track Task Force was exposed by a unit member who admitted his crimes in a tape that was heard by the DEE. The drug crew had contact with Gondo. This became the turning point as the investigators got the major clue which led them to doubt the police officer. The DA listened to everything Gondo confessed. He talked about his involvement in drug deals and usage. He then mentioned other crimes he was part of which shocked the DAA. Thomas Allers, Mamadou Gondo, Jamel Rayam, Evodio Hendricks, Maurice Ward, Marcus Taylor, Daniel Herschel, and Wayne Jenkins were the team members of this mastermind police team. Wayne was the head and everyone listened to him. Freddie Gray's death was the incident that caused the major revelation of this notorious police fraud team being caught red-handed. Freddie died in police custody, and the Baltimore police station was under suspicion due to his unnatural death. The investigation was conducted to know how Freddie died and what was the cause. The investigation report reveals that Freddie Gray was arrested by 6 police officers of the Baltimore Police Department. They arrested him as he sold drugs, and they caught him in the act. They dragged him to the police van and shut the door. But what went wrong is when they refused to follow safety measures and put Freddie's life in danger. He was tossed around by the policemen in the van as if he was a toy. He was treated unlike humans, and he was tortured severely. His hands and feet were shackled, and he was not allowed to wear a seatbelt. He was not allowed to have any kind of primary safety measure. He severely injured his neck and spinal cord. He couldn't survive the torture, and he died 1 week later due to the after effects. Manslaughter was the crime charged against these 6 officers who showed no amount of empathy for Freddie. People were shocked to know that the police force that they blindly believed in could do something horrific. The Department of Justice decided to investigate further, as there was something off about the police officers. Rod Rosenstein, DE, decided to be involved and uncovered this horrific story. Out of all the bad cops in this world, Wayne Jenkins was the worst. He headed the GTTF and had everything under control. He could be called the mastermind. The list of crimes these policemen have done is never-ending. They had a solid, well-made plan which they executed every day without fail. Their main target was drug dealers. They would target these people and torture them. They would take away all the drugs and resell them. Through this, they received more money than they could ever make being a police officer. Every day when they go in search of drug dealers whom they can extort drugs and money from, they do not have any emotional qualities a human should have or any kind of professional accountability towards their job as a police officer. Their only goal was to collect more drugs and resell them. Through this, a major income will be generated for them. The unlicensed weapons they carry were used by them not to shoot other people, but to plant on them unknowingly. In this way, they could arrest anyone with unlicensed guns. When these cops were caught, they were presented in court to confess. The jury was shocked to listen to all the crimes these cops committed within a short period. Once, Wayne and other policemen spotted a few men robbing a drugstore. They bravely stopped the robbery, but they had other intentions behind it. They continued the robbery and stole drugs from there. They looted the store and then resold the drugs to other drug dealers. They made a fortune through that. They took the house keys of a prime drug dealer suspect and raided his home without any notices. Then, they proceeded to steal $100,000 from there. They had a sadistic mentality as they used to drive cars at high speed towards a group of people for no reason. When people run for their lives, these policemen chase and later detain them. They feel powerful and happy by doing such heinous acts. To track drug dealers, they installed illegal tracking devices in their cars. Through this device, the police officers would receive information on where these drug dealers will be and at what time. The judge could not believe that a team of police officers could commit such horrific crimes while being on duty. They were given 112 years in prison, which they have to serve. Jenkins, the head of GTF, was given a very long sentence as he was the mastermind behind all these crimes. Jenkins is in the prison situated in Kentucky and serving his 25 years in prison. The Baltimore Police Department was heavily affected by the crimes these policemen had done. They have to earn the trust of the people as well as other departments. They are now being looked down upon by others as what these policemen committed is not justifiable. We Own This City is the name of the miniseries played on HBO. The makers took the Baltimore incident as inspiration, and they presented it before the audience as a miniseries. John Bernthal played Sergeant Jenkins, and he amazingly portrayed the role. The miniseries became a hit when more people discovered the Baltimore incident. A 25-year-old case was similar to the Baltimore incident. The cops in this case were equally dangerous as GTF policemen. Justin Volpe and other police officers arrested Abner Luama, who was a Haitian immigrant from a nightclub in Brooklyn, as a result of a fight in that club. Justin took him to the police station, saying that Abner punched him. He then proceeded to abuse Abner by beating him up and using a wood stick to sodomize him. He used the same stick to forcefully push it into Abner's mouth. The policeman admitted Abner to a nearby hospital and said that he was caught in a homosexual act. The doctors did not take their word. The news was out about the attack against Abner by Justin. Later on, Justin was jailed for 25 years in prison and has to give $277,000 as a part of restitution. Justin appealed for a release, recently making COVID as an excuse, but Judge Frederick Block denied it. Justin is said to be released in 2025. There are bad cops among female cops too. Let's watch the story of a female cop who was blinded by love and money. Antoinette Frank is a female cop who committed a horrific crime along with her boyfriend Rogers Lacaze on March 4, 1995. The horrific crime took place, shocking the people of New Orleans. Xiao Vu was running her restaurant along with her family. Kim H was their family restaurant, and they received a good amount of profit from it. They had hired Ronald Williams as a part-time security guard to look after their restaurant. Ronald was a cop and he works there in his free time. Xiao Vu called Ronald to the dining area to give his salary when Frank barged into the restaurant along with her drug dealer boyfriend and asked for money. Frank started threatening Xiao Vu and her brother. Ronald interfered to protect the siblings, but Frank's boyfriend shot him. Frank never expected things to escalate and she panicked. Both of them were presented in court and they were given death sentences. Frank was put in a Louisiana correctional institution for women. Do you think there are other policemen like this out there? Do you think this incident would repeat? Let us know in the comments.